So this week we're supposed to work on assignment 5, which, according to the syllabus, is to take a paper that you've already written to change the audience and thus change the tone. The major suggestion was to take a paper like an essay or something and make it funny. That didn't work so well. I tried. I really did. I tried, and it made me so frustrated. I spent the whole weekend looking at old papers from freshman, sophomore, junior year. And first off, I didn't want to use anything from an exam because that just feels kind of on a code-ish. And so that left me with actually very few essays to look at. But I looked at the ones I had, and it was tough because I tried redoing about 3 of them. And it's really difficult to take an essay that you've written that's an analysis of a poem or a critical review of a novel or an immigrant narrative and make it humor or even childlike. It's hard to make it accessible to a younger audience. And I was just so frustrated. So I finally just put it away for the night over the weekend, and I rage tweeted Dr. Hale, and I was like, I don't know what to do. This is so much harder than I expected. It's supposed to be easy, but what do I do? And we talked about it in class, and we had a few ideas, and we tossed them around, and she mentioned the idea of a children's book, which I hadn't really considered fully. So I thought about it, and I had this essay that I wrote for one of my classes, and I really liked it. Very strong, very good essay, and it was personal, which is one of the reasons it was so hard to make it funny. And so it's loosely based on my stepmother's immigrant experience. She came here from Mexico as a young woman, and she fell in love with a man, and she had a child with him, but they ended up separating. And eventually, she remarried, and she married my dad. And so, since they've been married, they've been so happy together. They had my little sister. They're just a very good, close family. And so, for one of my classes, it was an immigrant narrative class, and we had to interview an immigrant and write a biography. It could be fictional, it didn't even have to be a biography, it just had to be about them. It had to be their narrative. It could be a play, it could be an essay, it could be a story. And I made a 5-page short story about them. Changed names, changed circumstances a lot of times, but I tried to keep the important things like her reasons and her struggles and the universality of life the same. I wanted to emphasize some of the things that she faced that many other younger people at her age wouldn't have faced. First I started off talking about where she was from, and then what her youth would have been like. I actually ended up leaving out some aspects that I thought were cooler. For instance, this isn't in there, but when you ride the bus in Veracruz, where she is from, each of the buses is individualized. They're not like our buses, where they're all the same and they're kind of grimy and no fun, nobody likes to ride them. But what she rides in the buses in Veracruz, at the time that she lived there, which was maybe 80s or 90s, you would have loud music playing. It was almost like a discotheque on the bus. It was very colorful, it was very vibrant, it was very young and hip and happening. And so you would wait for the bus that you wanted to ride, your favorite bus. Even when they all went to the same place, you waited until the one that you liked came along and you rode that one. Which I thought was really funny, but that didn't actually make it into the narrative. What did make it in were some of the landmarks of Veracruz, what her life would have been like in Veracruz. And then the next step was why she came to America, when she came to America, what life was like for her when she first came to America. And then after she'd been here for a while, when she became a citizen, why she became a citizen, and then how she met my father, and what life is like for her now. And that's where it gets really more of the concrete details, because I had to make up a lot of things from her youth and from before meeting and marrying my dad. I made up a lot of those things, so those are more fictionalized, but as you get to about the fourth page, you see more of the non-fiction and the reality coming in. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to showcase her life and what made her the way she is. And so for this assignment, that was for the original assignment. For this assignment, I had made, or attempted to make, a type of children's story, a picture book, if you will. A little bit more mature than children, because there's unwanted pregnancy, or unplanned pregnancy, let me put that in those words. There's premarital living together and sex, and I don't know, there's a few topics that may be difficult for younger children, but what I have made is what I hope will be a more accessible story. And I've used pictures in it. Each slide has pictures. Because of the way I did this, I got to keep some of the Spanish words that I had used in the first copy. I liked to mingle Spanish words throughout the narrative to make it seem more authentic, and I got to keep those in this. And what I did was, after each Spanish word or phrase, I included a pronunciation key. And what I hope is that the words don't need an explanation or a translation, that they're simple enough to understand based on pictures or context clues, but I did want the words to be pronounced correctly, so that's what I tried to preserve there, is the true pronunciation. And I'm going to have a friend who is majoring in Spanish look over it, just to be sure that I kept that true, but I wanted to be sure. It's hard. I don't know if you've ever tried to write an English word with a pronunciation key, but it's really difficult. And so I tried to do it. And we'll see when I talk to her and when I show it to a few other people. But I'm really excited about this. I'm more excited than I was last week. Yeah, I can't believe how much I've enjoyed this. I'm actually spending more time on this than on the paper that's due on Friday, because I really want to get this and have as much time with this as I can. I would even skip it, taking my laptop to class tomorrow so I can show this to people, because it's our workshop, so I want people to be able to see this as I intended it. So we'll see how that goes. I think one of the hardest things with this is I have to fill in a few timelines to show the passage of time. I'm really excited. I'm almost done, and I'm 30 PowerPoint slides in. 30. And just got over halfway through the original narrative. So I'll submit both of these when I turn it in online. I will have the original narrative for my English course, and I'll also have my PowerPoint. I just have to figure out how to upload that. Other than that, I'm almost done and really excited. I hope it as enjoyable to read as it has been to create. And I try not to be too personally invested in it when I hand it over to somebody else. Having somebody else look at it, and then when they say it's okay, you're like, no, is it really? Because I feel like there must be something wrong with it. It can't be okay. We'll see. It's gonna be a try. The assignment side, it's gonna be a rough draft tomorrow. It might not seem like a rough draft, but it will be a rough draft. The other thing is I'm really, really OCD. So I want all the pictures to be uniform in spacing, in word size, in picture interesting. Just made that word up. So I'm gonna try to take a look at that and see what I can fix. And I also need to fix the font, because the font neither allows for capitalization or minimization of letters, neither does it allow for accent marks, which are a bit necessary when you've got Spanish. I kinda like accents until then. So I gotta figure out a way to implement those, because it needs to be accurate. We'll see how it goes. You'll see it on my blog. It'll be up there near the